I find that there is a certain form of condescension, not from the two of you. The two of you are extremely enlightened, you know. So, but there is a certain form of condescension from a lot of climate activists, right? And I even find this in Greta Thunberg, to be honest, like the way like she speaks, right? So, is it true? Is it fair to say that climate activists tend to be condescending?
What do you mean by condescending, though?
Oh, wow. Who's doing the interview here? Like,
You have to be a dialogue. You have to be one way.
fair enough, fair enough. Okay. All right. So do you think they speak to others from a sense of moral superiority, right? Which is, I guess, in some ways, it's not wrong, right? Because if you have a position, you must believe your position is superior, right? But do you believe that they go further than they should, right? Like they are speaking to people, hey, you guys are stupid, you guys are immoral, like be like us. We are smarter, we are more enlightened, we are more moral than you guys.
I think Terese and I were talking about this just now, and I found that like over the years, my approach to activism is not just telling people, oh, you have to do this. I think it's more of being like, here's what I'm doing for the environment, and this is why I'm doing it. And then kind of how you do like a ripple effect. I think that's how it works in the Singapore context. That being said, for people like Greta, who you find condescending to like governments or corporates, I think all I have to say is like, maybe, but I think it's totally justified because
So yeah, I think being condescending to governments and corporate organizations, I think that's fine. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But to ordinary people who maybe use plastic straws, that's my concern. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I feel like personally, the environmental movement focuses a lot on like solidarity, right? Solidarity with people we never seen before, or solidarity we never know, but who are suffering the worst impacts of the climate crisis, right? So I think like with that kind of mindset or the kind of back of the mind concern, I feel like if we have this kind of mindset, then we wouldn't really go take an approach of like condescension towards other people, but rather like a position of like love and in our advocacy instead. And also I feel like that I don't think it's very appropriate also if for activism to be about like yourself, like for example focusing on like, oh, my ideas are the best, and then I think like that form of condescension is very much unwarranted, and it will not solve the climate change at all. Yeah.
Yeah, and
also,
it's not. Sorry, carry on, Terese. Yeah.
like that being said, I think it's more often that we see the opposite is true instead. That there are more cases of people in corporates or governments, because they are at such an elite level, right? And like they're not really like on the ground as often as us, being more condescending towards like climate activists rather than the other way around. And we actually faced that a few times in the conference. And like
What was the response?
too idealistic, too inexperienced, and yet let's face it also, this current system, which is like built by these experienced and pragmatic people, is so thoroughly problematic.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think that was an excellent answer. You know, this governments and corporations always will use that, right? They'll say, "Oh, you're too idealistic." I wonder also how that became a legitimate criticism. At which point in human history you're too idealistic? Like, isn't it good like to have ideals and to have like, like, why is that a criticism? Why are you not idealistic, right? Why are you comfortable with the status quo, right? So I definitely agree. I think governments especially, they like to come from a point of view where they say, oh, you guys don't have the data, you guys are in your own bubbles, the standard one. But about activists, right? I don't think climate activists are the only one who can fall into this trap of self-importance. I think I see this amongst activists in general. And I think even if I were to be honest myself, like from time to time, I have to check myself, because we have a tendency to self-aggrandize our own importance, right? So yeah, I think it's what the two of you said is really useful. Thank you so much. Yeah.